transportation of the goods. The terms are 11 terms. Each term has an interpretation. Each interpretation clearly highlights the definition and the responsibilities in various factors, going up to almost 10 points of what is the responsibility of the buyer, what is the responsibility of the seller. If I illustrate anything of that, I can spend a whole day with you discussing this. I thought I'll just run through it right now and give you that understanding. It also, Incoterms is also very much used for customs clearance. For customs, they want to know what is the FOB value for them to determine the value for duty purpose. So Incoterms is vital there. Incoterms is also very important in relation to insurance purposes, to the banks, to when you have any regulations in relation to the solus agreement for the steamship lines, because of the weight of the shipment, how it affects the price. So all these factors can be talked about when we do Incoterms. Next slide, please. Please bear in mind, this is only a preview. The next one I got here, I thought I'd get you to get involved, and knowing that this is covered also in the actual causes, is cargo care, packing, marking, labeling, handling, and safety in global supply chain. One would argue, oh, what we talking about packing? When you move cargo internationally, you don't use the same packing as you use for normal cargo. For example, if you order something to, say, from a local business, you're going to find that the corrugated cardboard that the goods are put into that comes to you may be a one ply. But when you bring goods from overseas, you're going to use the corrugated cardboard, which will be three ply, meaning it's going to be quite thick. It has to be protected. It protects the goods within. There are many reasons why you protect it. From the time, you can look at this example here, from the time, okay, the 1 year where you are ready, it goes through various processes, goes through this entire cycle. And when that cycle is involved, everybody is involved in the cycle, they would have to take precautions to make sure that packages are well secured, that packages are comply with export regulation rules, that the goods are export packed professionally. It's also a requirement to identify the goods, actually to also how to handle the goods. You have identifications. By looking at the goods, you know how to handle it. The other one is the safety features. And lastly, by having the goods packed properly, insurance companies would pay you your claim as soon as possible if there is a claim submitted to the insurance company. But if the goods are not export packed, professionally export packed, insurance companies would decline your claim on the grounds that the goods are insufficiently packed. So we would discuss all these issues that I showed on my slide, and all that features would give you a good indication how important it is to make sure goods are protected. That's the word. Thank you. Next one. I said to you, an important factor in relation to getting goods moving is to also cover your risk. And a lot of parties got involved in making sure that they insure the goods against anything to do with something that can go wrong in the process of your goods. You have to understand insurance terms and conditions. You have to understand the terms and conditions in relation to what is, again, who is going to be the party who's going to insure it, who's the party going to receive the goods, what are the rates they're going to pay. All those factors are taken into consideration. At this point, I want to mention to you to make you realize marine insurance was the first form of insurance in the world. There were no other forms of insurance prior to marine insurance being introduced. It started all at a a coffee shop called Lloyd's Coffee Shop in London. That's when insurance actually started. To discuss that, you have to do the course, and I'll give you a complete lesson from start to end on marine insurance. Thank you. Next one. Next slide, please. Okay, role players. At this point, I just want to highlight to you, to make you understand, I said to you the main parties involved in a transaction globally is the buyer and the seller, an exporter and an importer. But we know there are various other important role players involved in the transaction. I've given you a chart here, and I showed you from the time the goods are ordered placed, you have an exporter, you have a forwarder, you have a consolidator, you have a haulage company. Haulage company simply is American terminology, or even in English, European terminology. It simply means a cartage company, right? You have port authorities, customs, you have the carrier. Carrier means a steamship carrier, air carrier, which mode of transport you're using. Now that is the origin side. Then we have the destination side. Vice versa, the same applies. We would discuss all these role players in detail in our discussions. In my headings here, we will come to know about the importer, exporter, how do the banks get involved, what are their functions, what is a commercial bank, what is the reserve bank. We will discuss that in detail. We'll come to know about our ports, that is our seaports, our airports, our border points in South Africa, right? We will talk about the Department of Customs and Excise. We'll talk about all the different type of carriers involved by land, by sea, by air, by road. That is the modes of transport. You'll come to know who's a freight forwarder, who's a custom broker, about insurance companies, about verification bodies. Verification bodies are people that are third-party interest companies, recognized companies worldwide, who do inspections of goods, also quality checks, etc. All that could be discussed. And then we talk about our consulate office, the Chamber of Commerce, quite involved. All is covered. And then we talk about government-related bodies, government and government-related bodies. You bring in chicken out of America coming to South Africa. You just don't come here. You have to look at the Department of Agriculture. You have to work with them very closely before you can even import a chicken. All these factors would have to be taken into consideration. Thank you. Next one. Then we talk about role of customs. I showed this separately because customs are a very integral part of global trade. And I said to you, you have origin, you have destination. No matter which global business you are involved in, no matter which part of the world you are involved in, the country of origin would always be involved with customs clearance in their part, and that is normally for export clearances. At the country of destination, you're going to get involved with customs in relation to when goods are brought into the country, and that is import regulations that you comply with customs. We would in detail highlight and go through the actual procedure involved at origin with customs and at destination with customs, the actual full mechanics and the process and procedures, also the law, the rules, the regulations pertaining to that will be also discussed there. Next one, please. On here, I only decided to give you a highlight of this to make you realize how important is the information flow. When people speak of information flow, they only think two people are involved, that is exporter and importer. But from this particular chart here and the actual features that are highlighted on this particular PowerPoint slide, you would notice global trade, we have an import-export documentation flow. We have commercial documents, we have financial documents, we have transport documents, we have insurance documents, we have many other features as well. Then we talk about the contracts. We have a sales contract, a contract of carriage, financial contract, and you have a risk contract. Okay? All these features would be highlighted and discussed in the actual course. Next one, please. On here, we talked about, we come to the one on financial flow. Financial flow, everybody is interested in where am I, how am I, when would I get my money? That can be easily discussed and easily understood if we discuss this whole procedure and we have a complete lesson on the methods of payment. What is trade finance? Trade finance means the exporter wants his money when the shipment goes. What's the process? What's the procedure? How does he get his money? Fluctuation risk, legal risk, unforeseen risk, investment risk. Many other factors can kick in as well. All these, we have a lesson on it, and we cover that in relation to global trade, linked with logistics and supply chain management. And basically, from my side, I just want to highlight, this is a preview. I wanted to introduce this preview to you to make you realize that if you venture into this particular area in your career, or if you haven't done it, or you are involved in it, and you're doing this particular course, I can assure you it is something of a plus to you. It will definitely be of a very important progress in your part, in your career, right? And as I always say, it covers you to go further and get the actual requirements you want to. I myself at one time worked for a company. Today, I am an entrepreneur myself, and then I educator now. I've given this time of my retirement age to educate as well. And I can assure you, by working with our groups as SCA Global, you would get the best material, best substance, and the best knowledge. And of course, you'll be certified, and you would definitely be an asset to your organization. From my side, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for that preview, Mano. Wasn't that interesting? You know, it feels already we are in this international trade course. I see, Mano, we've got a hand raised from Gordon. So Gordon, I hope you didn't raise that hand erroneously this time. Do you want to come in and say something?
No, I just wanted to compliment the presenter in the vast knowledge that he has in all these areas, you know.
Thank you.
This is it's quite a very broad subject. I mean, I come from a shipping background as well, but when I look at these and I look at your expertise, it's quite vast. I can also learn from you, sir.
We all each other.
Yes.
Yeah, this is another captain from Canada, Gordon. I'm not sure if you've seen or met.
No.
Okay. So, but it's fine. I was actually telling him that he's the captain indeed, because he's been in the space for over 40 years, from Canada to US and then back to South Africa. So,
it's over 50 years service.
Wow. That's what I wanted to comment on. Your vast knowledge and experience. It's hard to match, and you can't buy that, you know. So I'm just looking. I'd just like to know what company you work for, sir. Which was the company you worked for?
In South Africa, I started with Fred Cohen and Goldman, which eventually became Safcon. right?
Yes.
I was the first non-whites employed in the business in shipping, one of
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
There was one, two, but I can discuss that when I meet.
Yes.
Then one day I moved to Freight Services, which was part of the Anglo-American Corporation. Freight Services eventually was taken over by Freight Services broke away from freight forwarding. I left in '6. Then Rennie's, I believe, took over. Rennie's is now what, Midwest, etc.
Yeah.
Okay? So my experience goes from ground level. And when I arrived in Canada, I opened Panel Pina's office in Canada. I set up the office in 1976 in Toronto, right?
Yo.
And in 1986, I started my own company.
Right.
But I'm retired and it's a family business. It's run by my children. I'm back in South Africa. And while I'm here, I still want to plug and contribute and help the community.
Yeah. I think you got a wealth of knowledge, to share with everyone. So you can't just park that knowledge,
Absolutely.
True.
And
I've been with, just to let you know that I started off with Freight Marine, the ex-Freight Services, and then became Freight Marine. I started with Freight Marine with Peter Baker, Peter Krobler, and all these people, in 1984. Yes, yeah. So part of the same group that I worked for, and then we later became SAF Marine.
Right, correct.
Yeah, yes. Thanks for your wealth of experience here. I can see a lot that we can learn from you, sir.
Hey, we just got muted. So thank you for that, Gordon. I see we've got another question. I didn't see the person's name. So if you could just come in and say something.
Thank you so much, Mano, for the expedition and presentation. It's quite insightful. I just wanted to ask a question, since you're very much experienced in the global logistics landscape. Apparently,
sorry, if not to interrupt there, can we have your name just?
Sorry, my name. Oh, I thought I wrote my name on the chats when you asked me to introduce. My name is Zazi Sosibo. I'm a demand Sosibo, SOS. Yes, I'm a demand planner for ShopRite in Cape Town, based in Cape Town. I just wanted to ask a question, sir, since you're quite experienced in this field from a landscape perspective. Apparently, South Africa is one of the most strategic points from a map shipping perspective. Like I would hear, even when from a political standpoint, people would even go to it politically and saying that countries want to have so much influence on South Africa, as it has the balance of power in terms of how you move goods. If you want to move goods from one continent to another, one has to pass through South Africa. Hence, it's a strategic point. I'd like you to shed a bit more light on the advantages of South Africa, if you can, sir.
Yes, I could help you. South Africa has always been an integral part of global trade, and it became what I call a trade route for all, must say, Western countries and Eastern countries. Prior to the opening of the Suez Canal, you have to go back to some history here, right? And all goods, no matter where it moved right around the world, everything went past the Cape of Good Hope, everything. It's only after the Second World War, towards the latter part in the 50s, the Suez Canal opened up a little wider, and then ships are going through there, okay? But South Africa still gets a tremendous share on it. However, I think Gordon would also realize this and would mention to you that most of the steamship lines that are coming into the ports coming to South Africa They use South Africa also as a hub. MSC is the biggest carrier of goods coming into Africa because they use the port of Durban as a hub for local cargo and for transshipment purposes. Many other steamship lines are doing that. Likewise, South Africa, its position allows not only for our sea route traffic, but also for our, I must say, traffic that move by air. But we have created our own problems and we lost our own sea freight carriers. For example, Surf Marine was once a South African flag carrier. Today, even South African Airways is not around. So it hurt us to realize that two of our important carriers can cause us some concern. To some extent, I see the present government is going all out to make improvements in that and remedy that. I do see a lot of changes that are coming in to the ports of Durban. The Port of Durban is one of the best ports in the Southern Hemisphere. It is still. It may have lost ground, but at one stage it was the most important port in the Southern Hemisphere. Right now, I can't go out for the number. I may have to do some research again. However, to answer your question about the importance of South Africa is a very industrialized country. South Africa has all the resources to manufacture goods. I did give you an illustration where South Africa now belongs to various trade agreements. I've only given you one day. And if we really put our mind and soul into working together and building our manufacturing sector and industries, producing the necessary raw materials, semi-finished goods and finished goods in its proper sequence, we are going to be quite a powerhouse in Africa. Africa, believe me when I say this, I may not see it in my lifetime, right? But it won't be long when Africa will become a very important continent in the world in relation to world trade power. It's going to come, right? Because all the other countries and all the other continents are getting exhausted slowly. So answer for you is simple. Be prepared, work towards it. As long as we have the right leaders, we have the right approach, we have the right, thinking, we have the right people, I think we will definitely still achieve it.
Absolutely. And that's in your lifetime, Mano, not to interrupt there. But, I just need to say that let us pray and hope that it happens in our lifetime. And Zazi, I'm not sure if that answers your question. Mano, do you want to still add something there?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much, sir.
All right.
Truman, hello.
Yes, Gordon, you can come in.
Yeah, I just want to add to what Mano has said. I think one needs to look at it this way as well. We, South Africa, in the continent, are rated like a first world country in the continent because of our infrastructure, our constitution, and in terms of goods moving in by South African ports. The other good thing that we have here is that many countries are landlocked. They can't move things. You can move things only by road and rail, and then they bring it down to our port. And we have the advantage of the seaport, being a seaport to carry. And because the wealth of Africa lies in minerals and resources, they're heavily dependent on the country to move things through our ports and our seas. And it's also very, very safe to move it within our borders. Our borders are considered to be, if you look at throughout Africa, our borders are considered to be safe and seem to be strict. Yes, we do have our corruption, but it's slowly bending and it's falling. As you can see, very few countries in the world will arrest the president. And that speaks volumes for our constitution. And that's why the world has faith in South Africa as well. So as Mano said, that the future is quite strong and the world is looking at us for more global trade in terms of moving cargo via our ports.
Yes, and you know, what a better way to actually inspire that hope by making sure that Africa can actually trade, you know, with itself, encouraging all the, you know, countries within the continent to actually make sure that they tap into the opportunities that are presented by these free trade agreements, and, you know, actually pushing government to make sure that they implement these things and open the borders for Africans, for, you know, all the companies within the continent to be able to trade with one another without any restrictions, which is something that we've seen in the past. It continues to happen even, you know, till this day, where, you know, you would find that to export something to Nigeria, you'd have to actually go through a lot of, you know, hoops and loops, and it becomes really a very complicated and discouraging process for entrepreneurs within the continent.
True. Very true. And any feedback for any learners? Any participants who anything they like to know about the actual topic?
Yeah. Feel free. We've come to the end. This is the Q&A sessions that we're going through. So if you've got any questions, comments, you can just shout.
All right, I'll leave it to you then.
Okay. All right. No, I take it that there are no further questions, Manu. I see everyone is quiet. I don't see any messages in the chat box. So we are going to wrap it up.
Thank you.
So this is essentially the course certificate that one would get. This is just a sample. So if you attend the full course that Mano was talking about, you'd get certified in global trade. So this is the kind of a certificate that you would get on completion. But I must also say, this program is just one you know, program within a whole host of other programs that we are offering in as far as maritime and shipping courses are concerned. So the advanced shipping or global trade programs, there's an advanced program, the paid option, which you can also take if you want to further your studies, if you want to broaden your knowledge in terms of all things international trade. So we've also got a one-day full course that is also based on the very same topic on global trade. If you want to specifically take on a course on that topic. And there is a certificate in shipping, which is called Certified Shipping Professional, CSP, right? Or Certified in Global Trade, which is CGT, all right? Last but not least, like I said, there's a whole host of other skills programs, short courses, year-long programs, and I must say that, you know, those that are in South Africa, these programs are also accredited by TITA, which is the transport SETA. So we've got a wide range. You can take it as a short course, you can take it as a year-long program, from level 2 all the way through to level 6. So international trade, there's freight forwarding and customs clearance. There's, you know, the national certificate in supply chain management. There's the diploma in freight forwarding and customs clearance. And we can also customize for those that are in the shipping lines, you know, freight forwarding agents, in the courier, you know, companies. if there's
freight
a specific
handling
program, it could be freight handling. Thank you, Manu. Freight handling for those that are in the courier industry. So those are the type of programs, but like I said earlier, in terms of these programs, they are delivered by the likes of, Manu, who's one of the, industry experts that are delivering these programs. So we are able to go as far as customizing the program specifically for your organization. So if you are a corporate team, maybe there's a specific topic that you want to focus on, we can customize a program around that that is going to talk to your environment, your needs, and the type of challenges that you might be facing. And of course, at the end of that, it's not just a piece of paper. We are very much industry-centric. We want to make sure that all the students, the professionals that have actually taken these courses are able to go back to their respective work environments and apply the knowledge, the tools, the skills that they've learned from these courses. Gone are the days where, the employers will hire you based on a piece of paper and to be surprised by non-performance once you've been employed by the organization. So what we are offering is not just content or theory. We give you practical industry examples, case studies that we go through. Part of the course, you'll also have group discussions. You'll also have, presentations that you do on a particular topic just to reflect on that particular topic, do a little bit of research on that particular topic if you're given an assignment or a presentation, a group presentation that you need to do in class just to demonstrate your understanding of that particular topic. So with that being said, I would say, I think lastly, in terms of the exams, so we've got a combination of two things. There's local exams for those that are taking on the CETA accredited programs, or you might be interested in the international exam for one of the courses. I haven't included everything on the screen. So we've got a combination of local and international courses, not only in shipping, but the entire range really. Supply chain management related courses, management and leadership, operations management, logistics. I can go on and on and on. So for those that might need more information on that, you can visit our website or the social media platforms on LinkedIn, the Supply Chain Academy, SCA Global, or just the SCA Global. That's our, main name, or should I say the what they call it, the hashtag. So if you just search for the SCA Global on LinkedIn, you're able to pick up the page and just browse through if you need more information on the other courses. We are also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the SCA Global, on Facebook, Supply Chain Academy, SCASA. So with that being said, I'm just gonna end it at that. And yeah, if there are any questions, we are still here. Feel free to interact. We've also included the link in the comments for those that might be interested in taking this further and to enroll for the full course. So these are the details. If you need to reach out to us, if you've got anything that you'd like to know more, feel free to use those details. You can take a screenshot and yeah, but at the moment, maybe we'll allow everyone to, let's say in the next 2 minutes, if there are no questions, then we are going to terminate the session. Gordon, I saw your hand.
Yeah, I just want to also add that the students that are are listed with the academy, we also have some links into shipping companies, some of the top 5 shipping companies, where they often come to us. Recruiters are looking for students, and then we also will help to recommend you to some companies. I mean, today I was talking to Maersk Line, and they were telling me about they're looking at a new intern program. So often at times, if you're studying with us at the academy, we can always, look at positioning you in certain companies or directing you to companies that come to us and are looking for students, So I thought I'll just mention that as well. We have in APAC Lloyd, I think we've taken about 14 graduates to APAC Lloyd. Some of the graduates are now employed there. We've also taken students to Maersk Shipping Line at that time from our academy. So we do link up our students with the corporate world as well through our links and our inroads with the corporate companies.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Gordon. How can we forget to mention that, especially for those that are coming straight out of matric? If you are already in the industry, that wouldn't appeal to you. But for someone who's out of matric or you're currently in matric, we really encourage that you consider taking supply chain as a profession or as a career, specifically shipping. Very interesting part of supply chain. There isn't a lot of people that have actually, to be more specific, young people in the shipping industry. There isn't a lot of people there, so there's very exciting opportunities, like Gordon mentioned. So we continue to link up with a lot of shipping lines, freight forwarding agents, and multinational corporates to make sure that what we are teaching, once you get that qualification, you are already linked up with the industry. You know what is expected. And, if you are fortunate enough, then you are able to also get a work exposure type of arrangement, so that by the time you finish the course or on completion, you are able to apply the knowledge that you have learned. So with that being said, seeing that there are no hands, no comments in the session, I would take it that brings us to the end of the session. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mano.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.